counterproductive, rather. Congressman, given that, how then do we move forward on Middle East peace?
This is obviously going to be difficult, but I think it's key to recognize that he has assigned two very sharp men, George Mitchell for the Middle East, right there with Israel and Palestine, and Dennis Ross to coordinate Iranian policy. I think it's important that they've both got to be on their own dual track. I think we have to demonstrate by working directly and engaging Iran, which we haven't done. We outsourced our leadership in dealing with Iran until the recent year to the European Union, that progress can be made that benefits Israel. And then there's some give and take back and forth. For example, just a year and a half ago, our national intelligence estimate, which stated from the CIA that with high confidence, moderate to high, Iran had stopped its pursuit of the nuclear weapons program, but it could start it again. The key conclusion in that study was that Iran does demonstrate it responds in a cost-benefit way to its foreign policy objectives. So now we have to engage Iran, see what we can do to help stop its pursuit of nuclear weapons so that Israel is enticed in a comprehensive solution with the Palestinian people.
Those talks and that engagement with Iran has been going on. The international community has made clear that they expect Iran to end its enrichment of uranium. And now Israel is saying that there essentially should be some sort of timeline or deadline. President Obama said essentially that we're not going to have talks forever. What does that mean in terms of what's the next option then if Iran does not, if we're not going to have talks forever, and if Iran does not comply with what the international community is doing, will Israel use military means?
The military option is never off the table at least for the United States. But it is certainly not in our interest, as we've used in the past decade, to have the military be the first solution. The president has rightfully said that political, economic, and diplomatic efforts and sanctions can go a long way towards voting better for us. For example, last January, you heard the president allegedly wrote to the president of Russia that we would give up potentially our missile site in Poland, that would be for ballistic missile defense, if he would put pressure on Iran. There's an election coming up in Iran in just a few weeks. You know, the one who's the moderate who was running for it has actually talked about the vehemence that the present president uses against Israel is not correct. So I believe that there is effort still to be done, both carrots and sticks vis-a-vis Iran, before you even have to approach at a timetable for a military solution.
Well, yeah, I appreciate all that, Congressman. I'm still a little bit concerned, given the issues that are at stake here. For the Israeli Prime Minister, endorsing a two-state solution, dealing with Iran, and third, the settlement issue and freezing the settlements. And already I'm reading in the wires today that there are some government talks going on about contracts to go deeper into the West Bank. So if there's not a freezing of the settlements, if there's not an endorsement of the two-state solution, how then does President Obama get the Israelis to move forward on Middle East peace? How does that become a priority that can be realized by this president?
You know, you're absolutely right. At the end of the day, Israel is its own self-determining government. All that said, a comprehensive approach to a two-state solution is not just, we believe, in Israel's interest, it's in our interest. And being able to bring the neighboring Arab states together and the international community together with Israel to show, look, we can give you prospects for peace, is the real strong hand, and probably the only hand that this president has, in addition to showing that he can deal with Iran. General Eichenberg, who's now ambassador in Afghanistan, just 2.5 years ago, in testimony before the House Armed Services Committee, said that Iran works towards our interest of a peaceful resolution for stability in Afghanistan. Not because it likes what we want to do there, because it doesn't want the Sunni there. So there is an effort that we can deal with Iran to show Israel that there can be a way out of this conundrum. And I have to agree with you, it's tough. It's diplomacy. It is a lost art over the past 10 years for the United States.
Congressman Joe Sestak, Democrat of Pennsylvania. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Nora.
And